getting any feedback or echo.
All right, maybe it's just on my end.
Like, you sound good. Are you in the office today, or are you at home?
No, I'm at home. I wasn't going to go to the office in this weather. I just thought, and I've got some projects I have to focus on so that I don't get as many interruptions when I'm just in my office at home. Did you talk? I'm fine, Rana, with you doing a survey afterwards. I don't know if you guys resolved that, or if you talked about it already.
Yeah, we did. So yeah, we'll certainly, she's going to send it out at the end. And you can even put it up on the screen too, if you want, so people can see the click through it.
So
drop it in the chat. That's what I was trying to say. Sorry, drop it in the chat, and then but we'll also include it in the wrap-up email that we send out, and you can send it out yourself to the mailing list as well.
Yeah, it's just to understand their experience and what I can improve, and it's a way to measure, you know. I will talk about measuring the impact. So it's a way to measure what worked, what didn't work, and I will definitely, we can meet, or I can share the
yeah, I'd love to see that. If you're happy to, then we'll do that.
Sure.
And Fleur, if you're sticking around for the whole thing, maybe I'll give you a couple of minutes at the end to wrap things up, and I'll do the intro, or do you want me to do both, or do you care? Okay, cool.
So you are in Saskatchewan, Bonnie, right?
No, I'm in Regina now. I used to be in Saskatchewan.
Oh, and this is why you like that we had a lot of snow. Like, I like snow when I'm at home.
Listen, we got ripped off the last few years. Mother Nature did not deliver the snow she should have delivered. We got all the cold, but none of the fun, right? So
I like snow, but
I do too. I love it.
You cannot drive.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, stay home.
The roads were like, I don't know, Fleur, did you like, are you working from home? You are muted.
Yeah, you're muted, Fleur.
Sorry. Yeah, I'm working from home. So
yeah, roads were not great, Bonnie, today, because it's not cleared at all. So
yeah,
I have a good car, and I was really very careful in driving here.
Good. Careful is good.
So the survey at the end, if people take the survey, they will get a document about a scenario of a leader had a problem with the team members and how they managed to change the way they approach things using positive intelligence way of things. Nice. So it's an introduction, how to use positive intelligence to improve our communication skills, or resolve conflicts, or even advance in our career. So this is something in the future we may talk about it if you want.
Wow. 4 more minutes and hopefully they start coming in. We've got one person joined already.
Are you going to Vancouver for the Cara conference?
I hope to. Got to get signed up and stuff, and yeah, that'll be a lot of fun.
I'm going. I'm also presenting.
Oh, you are?
Yeah, and I'm a speaker.
Karen
Bonnie, we've got a hotel room for you. I know you're going.
Yeah. Okay, good. I just haven't had any confirmation that I'm going yet.
Oh, there's a confirmation. I don't know if registration is open yet. We haven't registered anyone yet.
Oh,
So,
Oh, I am registered. I finished everything.
okay, so
so
it must
I'm
be. Yeah, I guess we're just, we did a hotel earlier because you can cancel hotel. So,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, we'll get people registered. Because there's also a NEAR presentation happening, like with the NEARs from across the country. So, yeah, and I think we're still sort of figuring out who's going. So I'm not going though. So,
no, you can't right now.
well, I might be, Rana, I'm having hip replacement surgery. So, and I might be having like sometime between May and July. I don't know when. So I'm not traveling now.
Yeah.
Morning, Karen.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
We were just talking about the conference coming up.
The what coming up?
The conference for the research administrators.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And Rana's going, and I'm going, and you're going,
Good, good, good.
and Segundi is going too. Yes,
I don't know.
I think she is.
I think, yeah, Sigandi is going. And Susan Schachter is going from our NEAR, and we're still figuring out if our financial people are going or not. They're still deciding. We just haven't registered anyone yet. We have our hotel rooms, but we haven't registered anyone because people are still sort of deciding.
Good.
All right, I'll start letting people in here.
Hi, Karen. How are you doing?
Good. Were you talking to me?
Yeah.
Yes, I'm doing good. Yes. It's Wednesday already. Short week.
I know the short weeks are the hard weeks, though. I feel like I've got nothing done. Like, and we're already at Wednesday.
Yeah, true.
I'm just letting people in. They're slowly trickling in here, Rana. So if you want to get situated, I'll introduce you in 1 minute. And then we'll pass it over to you. And you've got your slides working, which is great. So we'll give people minutes to come on in. And just so folks know, we are recording this today. I'm glad that you're able to join us. If you guys want to make use of the chat, go ahead and type in where you're from and how you found us. And what do you hope to get from today? Okay. Okay, well, welcome everybody. As people slowly trickle in here, I am going to introduce our speaker. Our speaker today is Rana Mustafa. I think I said that right. I hope so. And she is, so before we begin, to acknowledge that this KM in the AM session is being broadcast from treaties 2, 4, 5, 6, 8, and 10, as well as the territories and the homeland of the Métis. We honor the ancestors and knowledge keepers of this land and recognize that meaningful knowledge exchange is rooted in respect, reciprocity, and responsibility. In alignment with our shared commitment at the University of Saskatchewan and Saskatchewan NEAR, we honor the land as Mother Earth and extend our support to the Indigenous peoples, cultures, values, and languages across the full treaties of Saskatchewan. Just forgive me, I'm letting people in at the same time here. So I do invite each of you to acknowledge where you are coming from in the chat and express your own land acknowledgements. And welcome to KM in the AM, our Saskatchewan-based community of practice for people who care about knowledge mobilization, research communication, and real-world impacts. Today, we're thrilled to welcome Dr. Rana Mustafa for our session, Beyond the Lab, Creating Scientific While Building Your Research Identity. Dr. Mustafa is a research facilitator at the University of Saskatchewan and a passionate advocate for scientists striving to maximize the visibility, influence, and impact of her work. Her professional journey provides a unique perspective at the intersection of research rigor, funding systems, and professional identity. It includes roles as a former university professor in food biotechnology and processing, and as an internationally recognized researcher, best known for her pioneering work on aquafaba, chickpea canning water as an egg alternative. And the bakers among us, we love aquafaba and we use it a lot. If you have a favorite recipe, toss it in the chat. Currently, Dr. Mustafa works at the College of Engineering at the University of Saskatchewan, where she supports researchers in grant proposals and aligning their work with strategic priorities. She's also the founder of Grow Strong Coaching, where she helps displaced scientists and STEM professionals move beyond the common quiet expert mindset to build confidence, resilience, and a visible research identity. Her contributions have been recognized with 2023 Newcomer Rising Leader Award and the 2024 Immigrant Women Resilience Award. And with that, we're bringing this to you today in honor of International Women's Day on March 8th, 2026. We celebrate Dr. Mustafa and women like her who explore why research identity matters as much as research quality and provide actionable strategies to help scientists translate their deep expertise and passions into visual opportunity and real-world impact. Please, Rana, take it away, and I'm going to let the other folks in.
Well, thank you very much, Bonnie, for this kind introduction. I'm honored to be here today. And Bonnie said everything I think you need to know about me and what makes me choose to present here and why I am even eligible to talk about this topic. Maybe I will add one thing to what Bonnie just said, which is we are talking about personal brand and research identity. And because of my life circumstances, I have done that multiple times after migration to Canada, after breast cancer. So I've done that multiple times and I am passionate about it. I feel so sad when a master's student or a PhD with a great research leave academia. They don't know what to do. They only know that I did this research in this area. They struggle to find a job, or someone who wants to transition, or they lost their job. They found it super hard for them to find other opportunities. So this is why I'm speaking about this today. So today I will take you on a journey where we will talk about the problem of visibility and impact and why they don't happen automatically. Then I will present a framework for you that you can take home and try to use it in order to increase your visibility and impact. This toolkit, you will find them helpful, I hope, and we will talk about your next step. So I am hoping by the end of this presentation, you will explain, you will be able to explain why excellence alone doesn't create impact, and identify the competing pressures researchers face. I'm also hoping that you will apply the visible impact framework that I created to communicate your research identity strategically. So, at the end of this presentation, if you are unable to do these three things, that means I did not present there in a way that maybe sounds good to you, or I didn't achieve my goals as well. So, before I start, I want to introduce you to one of my friends that I hid his name to just for privacy. This is what I call the shadow scientist, a great, exceptional geologist, creative problem solver. Great number of publications over years. However, he has never presented at a conference. He was always buried in the lab. He is always working under the assumption that his PI or the PI has funding. So brilliant work, zero visibility, no research identity. Does it sound familiar to you? Can you think of a scenario when the PI loses the funding or move to another university or other circumstances? What will happen to this person? This is an example. So this is documented in the literature. They call it the invisible scholar paradox, where excellence doesn't mean automatically recognition. Inside academia, inside your own field, inside your own lab, you work very hard, you have publication, you are specialized in what you are focusing on. However, outside this lab, outside the university, few people know what you do. And if they ever hear about what you are doing, it's unclear to them what you are exactly doing. What is the consequence of that? What's the cost? So the cost is if you don't actively shape or explain how others will see your expertise, the system will ignore it entirely. There's also what's called the researcher's treadmill. And you might feel connected to this. You need to publish continuously. You need to win the grants. You need to write grants, generate new ideas, teach, administrate, compete for like really very limited resources. And what's like, if you look at that, I'm sure it resonates to most of us. This is like you are walking, it's like you are in the treadmill. You walk, but you are in the same space. You didn't move, right? So what's missing in here is building visibility, creating strategic impact, thinking about impact before when you like a creative idea. And this is the problem that we are trying to solve today. So if you are like me, who is a hyperachiever, you might have different persona that are competing with each other. You want to be the achiever, meet all the metrics, create, innovate. You want to be the change maker. You want to mentor other people. If you are a faculty member, you need to mentor. You want to supervise. You want to lead. You are also maybe a parent, a partner. All of those compete with each other, and you are expected to do them. But sometimes it feels very difficult and not easy. And not easy, especially if you have a career interruption. You changed your location, transition to another country. People don't know you. You have a CV gap or low number of publications because in your home country resources are very limited. So you did great within the resources that you have or you had. But if we compare you to the new location, to different resources, you are way behind in the in that comparison. You are way behind. If you go on a parental leave or medical leave, or maybe the you lost funding, you have less students working with you, or you are working for someone. So all of that is career interruption that the system look at what you have achieved and identify it as gaps. And it's up to us to create professional identity and personal brand that strategically measures the growth. For example, if I was in a medical leave, I would say, I have resiliency. I created things while I'm managing illness, time management, stress management, etc. So you can create the narrative that reflects your real skills that normally we don't add to our CVs. We don't add to our professional webpage when we talk about what we do. So if you noticed so far of all, or if you experienced while you are doing your lab work or you are in academia, you will notice that there are almost three main competing pressures. You need to publish all the time, but you are also required to create impact. At the same time, you need to build your voice. So is it possible to balance these things, or are they really competing with each other? And speaking about impact, impact doesn't mean automatically or doesn't mean only citation. If you publish, and I know so many people, when you look at their CV, they have great number of publications. You go, and I will talk about metrics later. You go, you see, if you check their publications, they might have 1, 2 citations, and that's it. Even if they have high number of citations, we need to think about impact differently. Does this work create policy changes, or maybe industry adoption, or the result of this work changed the clinical practice, or the community practice, or the other things? So impact is way more than what we can summarize it in one slide, in fact, but those are just examples. So again, I believe that the pressure between different areas should not compete. We as researchers, we need to find that sweet spot where we can create impact. At the same time, we are great and expert on what we do, and we talk about our research and build our identity. So finding that right spot in the middle where we can create the impact is not easy, but it's something that we can build over time. So what I like to talk about also here is our authority as an expert in our field. And this authority does not happen automatically and overnight just because you are working super hard in the lab. It's kind of like, I can describe it as a chain of different things. You have an identity coherence, and you know how to signal, how to talk about it so it gains credibility. And you have a network that you can rely on and you expand over time. Any one of those blocks, if they break, the whole chain fails. And we need to be very careful about finding the balance between all of them. So speaking about identity and visibility, I like to take this example. Seismic clocks nowadays, especially in Japan, with the new science, they don't only rely on the building structure. They are building systems that divert the destructive waves before it affects the building. This is exactly what we need to do for our visibility. It's not only to show off, it's not self-promotion as so many people may think. It's also a protection. Your work might be vulnerable and misunderstood by general public. For example, some people talked about my aquafaba work as an egg replacement. And just share this news with the world. Egg replacement, yes, it's great, but I always talk about my work, and I talked about it to say it replaces the functionality of egg. That's it. It doesn't replace the nutritional profile of an egg. And this is very important because if you work and if you, for example, found some results about potential help with cancer that I read when in the past, like when you have banana, those black spots can prevent cancer. So from now on, if you see some bananas that are black or wherever, just eat them. So this is a general assumption that people just share on social media because they did not understand the research itself. So again, we need to talk about our research and make it accessible and understandable and clear to the public, not only for our visibility, it's also as a protection way for our work. So speaking about research identity, I want you to take a few seconds to think about what you do, your expertise, why it matters. If I'm a food scientist, it's my food expertise. Does it matter to you? I need to know why it matters, who is interested in knowing, and what makes me different. Because so many people look at their job title. I'm a research facilitator. I am a project coordinator or a research coordinator or specialist in whatever. And when you look at their LinkedIn profile or at their CV, they do not have the ability to say, for example, in a few like 3 sentences maximum, this is who I am, depending on the job that I am currently doing. So take a few seconds and think about it, and we will do some like an exercise later to make it easier for you to say it. So after speaking about the problem and the importance of strategic visibility, I want to introduce you to this system, 7 steps. It's called Visible. The Visible Impact Framework, I created it so it's so easy for anyone to take and apply to their own life, to their own work, so they create the visibility that they want. So if we start with this framework, the first 2 steps is define your vision and research identity. And by the way, you can apply this in so many other contexts. For example, if you are a researcher in the lab now and you want to be working with industry in the future, not with within academia. So defining your vision is number 1. What do you want to do? in the next 5-15 years? Where do you see yourself? What are you doing? You need to identify that. And yes, I know that life circumstances might change things, requires us to be flexible. That's okay. We need to be adaptable, but at least we have a starting point. And then identify who you are. What's your unique expertise? Who needs this expertise? And then your distinctive research signature. For example, I was doing, yes, I was a food scientist, but food science is so huge, like broad. But I was always connecting I am a food scientist specialized in food product development. Whenever whoever hears me knows that if they think about food science, they don't think about food processing. They don't think about food quality control. They don't think about microbiology. They only think about developing food products. So you need to be really specific about it. Now, this is the exercise. And if you feel comfortable, please share in the chat. If you don't want to share in the chat, that's fine. Just write on a piece of paper. There are different options that you can use to say a few words about your research identity. So, for example, if we take the first one, Rana, I help researchers achieve what? Build their personal brand by creating or by improving their research outcomes. For example, I have an example or an option number 2. I help, you need to identify who, moving from being invisible to being the go-to expert in their field by what? By increasing their visibility. So please pick one of these 3 options. We don't have enough time to choose different. Just pick one and write in the chat, who are you? What do you do? What's the result that you achieve when you help other people, and how? One sentence. I will give you 1 minute. And please share in the chat if you feel comfortable. So as you see here, I had an example. I help it's not me, but in general, I help food manufacturers. Food manufacturers here are the who I work with. Reduce waste by 30%. This is the result. By what? What's the method? By implementing predictive analytics for supply chain optimization. So I hope that you can continue later refining what you just wrote. And this is one exercise to help you identify your research identity. And the same example you can use as your elevator pitch when you go to any conference. When you meet someone in the elevator, on LinkedIn, I see some examples here. I have faculty achieve success by guiding them through Karen, thank you, Karen and Bonnie. Tim, I help laboratories improve operations and efficiency by, okay, great, absolutely. So this is how you can introduce yourself, even to yourself, so you know what you do and you stay always focused on your vision, your mission, and your goals. Of course, I will talk about later how you can present it even differently to 5 years olds, to grandma, to an industry's expert, etc. So thank you for whoever put the answers in the chat. So the three and the thank you, Zainab. So other steps in this framework are the signal and interpret. So after defining your vision and identity, now you need to make it accessible. You need to make it accessible by framing it to non-specialist, framing it to your little child, framing it to show in different versions based on like maybe at least five versions at least. So it's clear to you when you present or when you meet people, it's clear to you, you pick the one that fits the context and you present yourself. You interpret it, you translate your finding into accessible insights. So that will connect to people, to practitioners, to decision makers, to funders. I help faculty members in my current role with the grant applications. And I always say to them at the beginning, when you talk about objectives, make it as clear as possible, non-technical at all. This project aims to, by very simple sentences. And then when I report to my supervisor, even these objectives that are clear to the PI and to the funder, I report to my supervisor, who is the Associate Dean Research and Partnership. I share the objectives of those projects in a different way because I want to make them sound accessible, easy to understand in just one breath. So this is an exercise that I call the compression drill. So when we are done with this presentation, when you go home, try today, write one sentence that describes your work, your research for a specialist. Rewrite it in different ways for a funder, for non-specialists, as I mentioned before. But firstly, it was about your research identity. Now about your work. Write 5 different versions of it. 5 different versions, so whenever you go, you are ready to make other people convinced that you are the expert that they are looking for. If you are looking for a job, you might find someone in a place that you cannot even imagine, but you are ready and you are sharing your expertise. So they hire you on the spot. Things happened even to me one time. So do not underestimate the opportunities that come with the clarity of your vision and of your work and the way that you present. Now after being clear with ourselves, after being prepared to talk about our expertise, we need to broadcast. We need to be very strategic where we want to talk about our expertise. So I talked about clarity. It's very important. But we also need to know where to talk about our work so we are clear about the impact we will create when we share the information. So if you are in academia, of course, you will think about journals, conferences, preprints, etc. You also need to think about the new way of, it's not new, of course, but social media. So many people in academia think that it's a waste of time. It might affect our privacy, etc. But there are ways. There are platforms like LinkedIn. It's very safe. You can share your work there. You need to also hit and target decision makers. The most important thing to keep in mind that we need to share beyond our discipline, that we need to be aligned with our funding priorities, with our institutional priorities. We need to know where our audience are already, because random visibility is a wasted effort. So if you understand that visibility is important and you go on Facebook and you talk and you share your opinion about random topics, it's not the thing that we are talking about today. We are talking about strategic placement that amplify your impact. There are so many communication channels. We talked about scientific communities, Twitter, maybe industry talks, podcasts. I mentioned also LinkedIn. Doesn't matter. We need to pick one or two and master them, then expand. Now, after being able to share this with the world and being visible, how can we turn this visibility into opportunity? Okay, I can share with you when I was working on plant-based food, and especially egg replacement, meat replacement from faba bean and from chickpeas, that attracted media attention, industry attention. But I really took advantage of this visibility and I created opportunities and I moved up the ladder in my career because of that. So we need, as I mentioned, we need to be very strategic, apply for grants, invite people to collaborate with us, see if we can influence policy, practice change, etc. We can get promoted. We can get leadership position. Maybe it's time now to apply for some awards because we deserve it. So we need to leverage that and turn this visibility into opportunity. All the time, we need to be strategic, and our work needs to be strategic, not random. I would say also not only strategic, intentional. Now, the final step is elevate. And in here, we need to measure, refine, be adaptable, and expand. We repeat. Do that, repeat again. We need to know where is our influence growing. If I don't measure things and things that you don't measure, you cannot evaluate. So I hope that after this presentation, you will go to some metrics, or if you don't have any metrics that you are trying to measure, try to pick one or two or three, traditional and impact, track them, identify what worked, what didn't work, see where you can expand, where you can improve, and refine your message. So there are different ways to measure your what you want to create in this world, your impact. You can, yes, the traditional way of measuring number of publications, number of citations, index, grant funding, you can measure that. It's the traditional way of measuring things. But you can also start to measure things in a different way. How many policies cited your work? Is there a new collaboration? How many industry reached out to you to fund your research or to provide some money so you can do some research or work for them? Media reach, etc., etc. I wanted to share this different way of measuring what matters that I personally use in my work when I'm working with faculty members, because I work with the Associate Dean Research to nominate some faculty members for awards. We work for strategic priorities for the college. So I use those platforms. Some of them I use more than others. So for the academic impact, I use SciVal. If you don't have an account, please do, or Scopus. Scopus is connected to your ORCID. ORCID can be connected to SciVal. You go to SciVal, you can know everything from the start of your career about your citation, the impact, how many policies cited your work. All of that you can use it in your promotion. You can use it in your job review. You can use it in for you, so you know where you are in the spectrum. Overturn, altimetric are other way of measuring impact. Google Scholar, of course, everyone of us know that. So now, after showing you this framework, look at this framework. Let's take a deep breath and think about where you are. In what stage you think you are? At what step you are now sitting in this staircase? Think about what do you need in order to move another step. Not what you need to be at the top of the staircase. I always like those little small steps that create butterfly effect. So think about one simple action that you will take today and tomorrow to move you a little bit closer to where you want to be. And that's the ultimate goal or your vision. It's very useful, maybe, and this is something that I encourage you to do when you have a few minutes. Do some visibility audit. I do that personally. I do that visibility audit a few times a year. I Google my name. I see where I am showing, like where my name is showing and with what result. I identify the value of the contribution that I've done. And then if I felt that I am behind for some reason, I felt that because I'm a hyperachiever, I remind myself that building a presence is a marathon. It's something that you build through consistency. It's not like one step that you can, or one action you can take and voila, it's done. It's not a switch. It's something that we need to practice and work on gradually. And as I mentioned at the beginning, visibility or the choice to be seen is a choice. We have the ability to be seen. We have the methodology to share our ideas, to create or attract attention in a different ways, we have the capability. But it's a choice to be strategic so we make our work indispensable. And what I say all the time to people, don't be the best kept secret. How many people you may have from Syria who are a faculty members? If I haven't shown up and talked about my research even before coming to Canada, I don't think I am here now. So many people within the Syrian war are now invisible. So when I speak, I know that I have the choice to speak and share my voice with the world, to share stories, to encourage people to create impact. So starting today, write a few sentences to clarify your identity statement. Identify one non-academic stakeholder that you want to connect with on LinkedIn. Not 10, not 20. Be strategic, start small. And choose one communication channel that you want to test and expand beyond that. So again, beyond the lab, building research visibility or professional visibility is a structured process. It's not one-time effort. It's not one presentation. So let's continue the conversation. And I really wanted to share this photo with you. This photo was won the award in research image competition at the University of Saskatchewan. It was taken by a university PhD student. It's the cell under the microscope. And he put this quote, Rumi quote. Rumi is a philosopher that I love. And the quote is, you think you are a small entity, but within you is enfolded the entire universe. Rumi, when he said that, he didn't know that this student captured things, proves what he just said. And I love another quote to Rumi when he says, you are not a drop in the ocean. You are the ocean in a drop. So you are capable. You have resources. You can do it. And we are here to support you. So the lab is where you discover, and the world is where you matter. Start small, start now, and if you want me to measure the impact of this presentation on you, please do me a favor and scan this QR code and share your feedback. This is how I improve all the time. I ask people for feedback, even at work, even family members. I try to take this feedback and measure what I created as an impact and see how I can improve next time. So thank you very much, and I am ready for any questions.
Thanks for that, Rana. You know, you brought up a lot of very important points. And although your perspective is from the hard science world, many of us in the social sciences and outside of that, we use the same techniques. But like I said in the chat, it's always harder to promote ourselves than it is to promote. I can promote what Fleur does because she's amazing and it's easy, but I can't do for me. That's hard. And it never
Well,
seems.
you have some tools now too, Bonnie. I think this is great. I'm just doing some work with them. staff around like strategic planning. And I'm like, I'm going to get them all to watch this and start thinking about this themselves as we build their plans for the next, 6-12 months about what they want to accomplish. So it's wonderful. Thank you, Rana.
Yeah, so the questions, folks, if you have a question, raise your hand and unmute, and you can verbalize your question, or you can dump it in the chat, and Rana will see it and be able to answer that. Some of the things that stick with me as I think about this are sort of that invisible scholar paradox that you mentioned, right? Emphasizing that research excellence doesn't automatically lead to external recognition or impact. It really does take us as the professional that we are to get that information out there and get it into the hands that can maybe help us move ourselves along the staircase that you showed, and it takes a long time to learn how to do that for ourselves, but it is very much worth the effort. Maybe you could throw that staircase up again.
Sure.
To the screen, and we can take a look at that again. I found that very interesting. Yeah, there it is. And so yeah, just by moving up that staircase, we're able to self-promote, but put ourselves in spaces that will help us reach our other goals, I think. And another thing that stuck with me is that researchers have to overcome sort of that treadmill effect by dedicating this time to strategic visibility, like I said, getting yourselves in the places that you need to be in order to move yourself along this staircase and achieve your goals. Yeah, visibility, it is a strategic asset for most professionals working in today's world. The world of work is changing so fast, and it's changing right before our eyes. There's new job roles coming in to replace maybe things that we're automating, and these new job roles, we have to validate the effort that we're putting into these things, and we have to validate to ourselves the effort that we are taking away from other things in order to do the work we do. And that is valuable and worth celebrating, I think.
So Zainab has so Zainab shared her statement about what I do, and she says, what can I do differently to make it shorter? And this is the struggle of so many people, and this is why I will share the slide again. Like if you look at this, Zainab, it's easier for you to write it down one time, twice, 3 times, leave it, and then go back after 1 day. Leave it, and then ask your supervisor, ask your co-worker, ask someone who's outside your expertise. Say, does it make sense to you? And this is how you gain even clarity about the best way to share your expertise.
This is a great place, I think, to throw in a conversation about plain language, right? So
absolutely,
we all use the language that we're used to, and if that's, a lot of times that language is inaccessible to most other people.
So I love the comment. Someone commented, I don't know topology. I don't know what it means as well. So it's a great comment. So if you are, Zainab, if you are talking to people in your field, that might be the right word to use. If you are talking to a general audience, You might use different word that is easier to understand by the, like, let's say, I don't know how you can explain it, but different word that is simpler that anyone can understand. I think one time I heard like there was a challenge, like a university challenged researchers, that kind of a competition or a challenge to say 100 words without any of them being technical, like just words that anyone can understand. Say, let's say the challenge for you now, Zainab, is to talk about your work and use, let's say, 50 words or 20, that none of them has technical words so people can understand it. It doesn't mean that you need to do that all the time, but you need to have, as I mentioned before, at least 5 versions of your research or professional identity so people can understand. Believe me, when I say, I was shocked when I first came to Canada, when I say I'm a food scientist. So people look at me like, huh? What do you do? To me at the time was food scientist. Like, it's very easy to understand. So I really think that we take for granted what we say, as it's easy and understandable by everyone. Any more questions? So just as a note for the feedback, if you fill out the feedback form, you will receive a document from me. I do positive intelligence coaching. So you will receive a document that has a scenario about a leader who has troubles or conflict in the team, and how we can manage this conflict using positive intelligence. So if you want to know more about me, please connect with me on LinkedIn. I have a newsletter about leadership. It's called Leadership Lab for Scientists. If you are not working in science, believe me, the same concept applies. The only difference will be, instead of like the metrics or the venue will be different, but the strategy or the framework will be the same.
So, Rana, as I'm watching the chat and thinking about this, what do you think is the single most effective exercise or piece of this puzzle for folks who are just beginning that self-reflection process and framing process? Like you mentioned, you do it a couple times a year. What
Yes,
is some of the tips you have in what do we ask ourselves when we do that self-reflecting?
so first of all, what's my vision? My vision. So for me, I was working in academia. I was working as a food scientist doing research and food innovation. But after my cancer and medical leave, I still want to help people, but my vision stayed the same. But the way how I reach my vision changed. I don't want to do research myself because of health issues, but I want to help researchers. So see, the vision is the same. So first of all, we need to know what's our vision. I want to stay in academia. This is my vision. I want to help researchers and students. This is my vision. And then my identity. What do I do? So in the past, I helped when as a faculty member, I help students to be the best food scientist ever. and then it changed. I am a food scientist, and I help food companies develop the marketable food products. So things have changed. You need to sit and ask yourself the question, what do I want to do in the next few years? And ask your question and rephrase it. What I do, your elevator pitch, rephrase this identity statement. I think this is the most important exercise. And track what you do. For me, I have weekly blog in my calendar to track my achievement, not my tasks. Am I committed to that on weekly basis? My commitment to sit and track, maybe sometimes I'm busy, I don't have time, but I have it. I try to commit as much as I can to sitting for 15 minutes and look at the week, what I have done. Did I just spend my time replying to emails? Or I helped a faculty member to renew their chair? Where did I create a larger impact? So this is achievement. For example, I helped to create a grant writing course. I facilitated grant writing workshops. These bigger tasks that to me, they are achievement. So I have like a way to, later I can explain to you how, but I have a way to track my achievements, of course, through the tasks that I do, but I don't just like, oh, I replied to this email, I contacted this person. I need to look at my tasks and see, okay, what did I achieve? What are the skills that I built? Are they serving my goal, my vision? Or I'm just sitting on my place on that treadmill? So I think as a start, those are the main important steps.
So that's really good advice. I think most of us are getting quite a bit out of this, just to kind of continue along that sort of pathway. When we think about measuring what we do and the impact of what we do, I think it's worth it to think outside the box. So to track like non-traditional metrics as opposed to traditional metrics. So instead of tracking my paper got cited X number of times, can you find out who cited that paper and why? And then track the why instead of just the number.
Absolutely. So another example, Bonnie, let's say I published a paper, a new paper that is, I'm very proud of it. Okay, let's say I published this paper. This paper, I write a post on LinkedIn. Do you know what is aquafaba? Do you know how we can create replacement for egg functionality through chickpea? Well, I just published my work, blah, blah, blah. So I'm talking about my work on LinkedIn. So someone will comment, oh, this is interesting. So what I do, I go to these comments, who checked my post, communicate with those people, leverage these opportunities. I know it's not easy to do the 5, 6, 7 in that staircase. They are really the hardest part of this process, but it's worth it.
Oh, Noreen, you feel free to go ahead. We always schedule these sessions for 90 minutes, so we have lots of time for discussion and for the presenter to get their presentation done. So if you guys need to leave, feel free. We'll stick around for anyone who wants to stick around and talk about this a little more. Again, don't forget to fill out that survey that Rana mentioned. Don't forget to follow her on LinkedIn and watch your inbox. We're going to have a wrap-up email, as we always do, which will give you some additional resources and what we talked about and that sort of thing. But yes, it's been recorded, so it's going to go up on YouTube shortly, and you can find the URL in the wrap-up email that we're going to send you. This was great, Rana. My head's sort of exploding with all sorts of new ways to measure, track, and do for myself what I do for other people. So thank you so much. And thank you everyone for joining us today. You guys really do make this community vibrant and dynamic, and we keep these presentations going because you keep asking us to. So if there's anything you want to learn next, you can send me an email. If there's a speaker you'd like to hear from, you can send me an email. As most of you know, we just celebrated our 10th year in existence. KM in the AM is a thriving community of closing in on now 400 people. So keep it going, guys, and keep telling us what you want to learn and who you want to learn it from. Rana, I'll let you close us out there.
Well, thank you very much, Bonnie. You just said something super important at the end in terms of I help others. How can I help myself? It's challenging and it's harder. I tell you why. Because it's always easy when you drive to see in front of you where you look. But if you have mentors or coaches helping you, they will see the whole picture. So this is my final advice to you. If this sounds a hard task to do, don't do it on yourself. Reach for help, reach out for help, have mentors, have coaches around you helping you to see the bigger picture. It was an honor to be here, and thank you again, Fleur and Bonnie. I love KM and the AM. I am always dedicated to attend your sessions, and it was a pleasure to be here today. Thank you.
All right, folks, if you guys are sticking around and you just want to unmute yourself and ask your questions or say your comments, feel free to do that now.
I like your comment, Fleur. Yes, it's a great exercise. In fact, as a teamwork,
Yeah.
it really helps people to clarify, like when Zainab was saying, like, how can I say it differently? So if they are doing the exercise as a team, or if she is doing it with a mentor or a coach, things will be faster. Can we do it on our own? Absolutely, yes. But it's faster to work with in a group or with other people.
Yeah, I'm amazed at, like, this just came at the perfect time for me as we're doing some planning, and we have a new assistant manager in our network. And so she's, doing onboarding, and then we're meeting with all of our staff and, doing some planning around the next, 6 to 12 months. And I thought, oh, this is like such a great tool to get started on it too, because we had been asking them different things, but not giving them sort of structure around, real kind of defining their jobs and, I think clarifying their roles a bit. And this seems like actually a great way to start, because it kind of gets to what you feel you do and where you want to kind of add to it. So, yeah. So thank you so much.
You are welcome. And please, if you find this tool or anything in the future like useful, share feedback with me. And
Oh, yeah.
I'm more than happy. Like if you find the presentation helpful, I can also present at other occasions, other venues to create a larger impact.
Yeah, great. Well, and since it's being recorded, we'll share it too. So like I'll share it across the research facilitators, and that though it's Saskatchewan, the ones at U of S, but also the Saskatchewan wide network. So because it's so useful. And we probably should share it with some of our colleagues across the country, Bonnie.
Yes, we definitely should do that. So it'll get shared as many places as we can think of to share it with. But it's,
so Rana, are you presenting sort of this work at Kara then?
So a very simpler version of it.
Yeah, okay,
I
that's
created
great.
a framework. It's 4 steps to improve your career as a research
cool.
administrators. So I shared the I'm. It was at the National Summit in November, I think, where I presented. I'm collaborating with the director of research office at the University of Lethbridge. And then we are presenting in Vancouver at CARA conference. However, we are focusing on how to measure and track our achievement so we can move to another level. Because as you mentioned, Bonnie, the difficult part of it is to start by being clear about what we want to do and then track what we are doing. Like I am very mindful about it. I have different tools I use to track what I do. And I still sometimes when I am super busy, I feel I'm like I have that in my calendar and I ignore it. No, today I'm not sitting for that reflection. And I remind myself, you know what, this half an hour reflection is more useful than maybe sometimes 2 hours of random work where I am juggling like tasks and emails and things that are not really, they are important, but you need to think about, okay, can I do them differently? I'm also like you, Bonnie. I'm an advocate and like I love AI. I try to use it to increase my creativity, my innovative, my efficiency. So all of that are really like part of what I do in general. And it's not easy, I tell you. Like some days I don't have enough sleep.
Oh, for
This
sure.
is
I
a
agree.
choice, absolutely. But this is a choice. I know that I chose to be what I am, like to do what I am doing now, and this is what's the price. But this is the reward.
Hmm. Yeah, that's so true. So very true. I think as we move along in life, our career aspirations change, and to figure out the why of that change, that's where you'll kind of sink into really discovering what your passion is. And it really is all about sharing what your passion is. And
Absolutely.
once you start
And
sharing passion and you know that passion, the rest comes easily, right? Like when I write grants or do any work for clients, I always sort of interview them to find out what their passion is, because especially in research, because nobody researches just because. You want to change something, you want to make something better, there is something you want to do through through the chosen research that you're working on. And
so
to
you need to find the sweet
figure
spot.
out where that is, that's sometimes not easy to think of ourselves, and it takes a bunch of questioning and a bunch of reflection to figure out really what that is.
Yeah. I also think about like taking something simple and just practice it. So the same framework, you can do it for any other goal. Like
Mm-hmm.
2 years ago, I thought, especially after my cancer, I want to start a different kind of fitness journey. Is it late? I'm in my midlife. Yeah, it's not late. I can use the same framework, 1, 2, 3, and just stick to it and move forward. But I should mention, I'm always like, I have mentors. I have a coach working with me. I am a coach and a mentor for others. So it's how you improve.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's so true. So, folks, do you guys have any more questions or any comments that you'd like to share with us about what we saw today and heard today from our speaker? I'd love to know what you guys think.
I think many people have left.
But there's still a few.
There's only a few people on still.
Yes. But if there's no more questions, maybe I can give you guys some time back in your calendar. But yeah, I guess with that, we'll wrap it up. And thanks for sharing your experience with us, because you hit on a lot of things that we don't normally think about, and reminded us of the importance of actually thinking about those things. And I'll get this up on YouTube as quickly as I can. And I'll share the links with you guys, and we'll do all the wrap ups and do all that fun stuff. So thank you, Rana. And hopefully you'll come back again and talk with us about other aspects of what you do.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. All right, with that, we're out. So have a great day, everybody.
I don't know if Bonnie closed it. I don't see her now.
Her note taker is still here. I am a judge at 3-minute pieces, so I have a long day
You
ahead
should,
of
yeah,
me.
you should get going then. Okay,
So
thanks so
I'm
much,
going
Rana. That
to
was great.
thank you. And please, I don't have the link of the QR code, but I hope you also
Oh, I
share.
got it. Yeah, so I have it on
Please,
my
yeah,
phone now,
please
so I'll
share
fill it
your
out. Yeah.
feedback. And I made it in a way that people can share their feedback without their names. It's
Oh, yeah,
optional.
sure.
So they are comfortable saying whatever they want,
Yeah.
because I love it, because this is how I improve.
Great.
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye. We'll talk to you later. Thanks again.
Bye.
Hello, is that finished?